Hey, what's happening, guys? So in case you missed it, Jonjo Shelvey was asked to remain at home for Forest's visit to Liverpool after the midfielder took exception to being named on the bench for the tie during a team meeting ahead of the match. During the confrontation, Cooper allegedly informed Shelvey that his training performances simply weren't good enough to warrant a starting berth, an assessment he quite clearly disagreed with. While it's good to see someone desperate to play rather than sit around on the bench and pick up a wage, especially against his former employers, it's absolutely no excuse to undermine an already under pressure manager. As far as I'm concerned, it's unacceptable for any player to react in that fashion, let alone one who's fortunate to still be a Premier League footballer. Because I tell you what, his legs have completely gone and a passenger's the last bloody thing you need when playing at Anfield. What's particularly disappointing is that he's hardly a spring chicken either. A man of his experience should be conducting himself in a fashion which is of help to the dressing room, not a hindrance. Look no further than Zlatan Ibrahimovic at AC Milan over these last couple of seasons. While he's had his fair share of injuries, he's accepted playing a bit part role when fit. And that's someone who shits all over Shelvey when it comes to achievements within the game, which just goes to show you the difference professionalism makes to overall success. Not to mention Shelvey's only been here 2 minutes, so I can't for the life of me understand why he thinks Cooper or Forest owe him anything whatsoever, particularly when you consider he's the reason Villa broke the deadlock in a 2-0 defeat a couple of weeks ago following an individual error. If anyone had reason to moan, it was Brennan Johnson. The kid was dropped from the 11 despite being Forest's top scorer while also playing more games and minutes than anyone else in the squad, yet came on as a sub and made both a tangible and positive difference to proceedings. In an ideal world, Shelvey wouldn't play for Forest ever again, but taking the ever-increasing injury list into account, his services will almost certainly be required in what little remains of this campaign. You would think he'd be man enough to apologize for his antics in front of his teammates before buckling down again, but only time will tell. As for Forest themselves, there's plenty of reason to be optimistic following an impressive performance at Anfield, a stadium where they haven't won a game since 1968, which is before man went on the moon or Brian Clough even took over the club for reference. I thought they were desperately unlucky not to pick up a point, but the key is to carry on from where they left off into their next game. Portsmouth in 05-06, West Ham in 06-07, and Leicester in 2014-15 are just some examples of sides who've beaten the drop from even tougher circumstances than Forest find themselves in, so anyone losing hope shouldn't just yet. Needless to say, there's some tough fixtures coming up, but with Leeds and Everton also struggling for form, you've got to keep the belief till the bitter end. As for Shelvey, he needs to give his head a wobble, or else even the championship will prove to be too much given his current mental and physical state. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this down below, and I'll catch you in the next one, lads. Peace.